This video is presented by the EA Creator Network. Hello, today I have another Copperdale video, part of my Haunted Copperdale save file. Today's is a bakery that has a 2-bedroom apartment next door. Today's build was built on a 30 by 30 lot called Bridge Creek Drive in the neighborhood of Plumbite Cove. And thank you to Zoe who uploaded a Sims family for my Copperdale save file. This home and bakery were inspired by their Sims family and their Sims family story. When I was starting out on this lot, I was mostly just trying to figure out where I wanted the storefront to go, and I wasn't completely sure of where I was going to put the apartment. I didn't really want it to be on top of the storefront because I had already kind of done something like that with my pizzeria build, and so I wanted to try and do something different from that. And so I ended up like going with two separate structures. And actually, when I was building this, my game crashed while I was trying to save, so I had to redo this twice. Not a lot of it, just this part where I have the storefront and I pick out the items that I'm going to use. So in the video, it looks like I knew exactly what I wanted to use, and it was because I already spent a long time trying to like test out different windows and doors and what I want like near the door of this bakery. And so that's why it was very fast. And watching this back, I could see where my thought process was. I was like, okay, apartment at the top, and then off to the side will be a garage, like a detached garage. But then I would quickly realize that I didn't want to have to do the same thing that I did the like a few videos ago in the save file. And so I wanted to change it up a little bit, and now I'm like deleting that top part. So I was like, what am I even doing? I don't know what I want to do for this build. And so I just move it all over and I create a second building. But then even when I was doing this, I was like, but I've done two different lots that have two different buildings on it. But I really just like, I wanted this to fill up a lot of the lot. And I thought that this would be the best way to do that. But because I was trying to not make this look like any of the other lots, the roofing took me a lot longer to settle on, and I wasn't really happy with it up until recently with the like I kind of changed the roof of this way after the speed build too, and I don't even think I show that part of it. So you'll see like kind of me using a half gabled roof on the bakery, and I decided that I kind of looked strange and I really didn't know what I was doing. So I just settled with like everything being kind of flat except for roofing on the lower level. So I have roofing kind of like on two sections of the build to the left towards like the bottom of the build, and that's it. And then the rest is just flat because I thought that it looked different from everything else that I was doing. And also I thought it kind of like, I don't know, maybe I was just overthinking it because I tend to do that too with my builds. So this could have just been me completely overthinking the roofing of the entire build. I'm also not used to building kind of like commercial lots like this that look like it could kind of be in real life. This isn't fully in my comfort zone, which I've said many times while I was doing this. So I always, when I was looking at these builds, I was like, they kind of look a little bit strange, but maybe that is good for the theme that I'm going for with like a haunted Copperdale. The builds kind of like look a little bit weird and maybe a little bit off balance. And it's not intentional, it's just because I'm really just not used to building these sorts of structures. It's all very different for me, which I think is a good thing. It's nice to get out of your comfort zone with building and try and learn how to build other sorts of structures so that I'm not doing the same thing all of the time. And this one really did get to me. It took a lot to get to a point where I was like, yeah, I kind of think this is good enough to actually share and post. And like even the interior, I had to put a lot more effort into figuring out how I wanted the interior to look for it, but I think it looks really cute. And I was inspired by the color palette of the outfits that I had seen uploaded to the gallery. Like I don't remember when it was, but at one point I did start a different build on this lot, and it was going to be like this general store that had a home on top, and it was really big, and I had done the exterior of it, and then over time I just like wasn't really feeling it anymore, and then I opened up that hashtag where people could upload sims to the gallery for my save file, and I had seen the one for like a bakery, and I was like, yeah, I did want to make a bakery, but now I don't know a lot to put it on because I had planned to put a bakery where the ice cream shop ends up being in my save file. And I was like, now where am I going to put the bakery? And I was like, let me just scrap that entire general store that I was making because I didn't really like it that much anyway. And I don't know, who knows? Maybe one day I'll look at it again. If I have it even saved, it's probably buried in my many save files, or maybe it's in my saved library on the gallery. I have no idea. But when I had seen the family, I was like, wow, people are so good at making Sims. I really don't enjoy making Sims much anymore. I used to a long time ago, but I'm primarily just a builder. And so if I'm making Sims, it's kind of me forcing myself to make a Sim for something. But I really liked their Sims and the story of the parents owning this bakery and the teenager not really wanting to follow in the parents' footsteps with the bakery and they want to be a musician. And so I gave a little like platform stage area in the bakery where they could maybe like play the keyboard that is set down there. That was like my way of trying to incorporate something for the child sim, well, teenage sim, into the actual bakery. I did also give some instruments in the teenager's bedroom too, just to like incorporate some of that story into the build if you did want to download it, and also download the sims that are like going with some of the builds. This family you can find using the hashtag #CKSims on the gallery. It won't be on mine because I didn't make it, so it'll be on Zoe's page. And whenever I finish the entire save file, I'll do the same like directional instructions where I say where things go, what families go where, how to find everything that I did with my Glimmerbrook save file, which I uploaded on Patreon. So I'll be doing the same exact thing whenever it is fully done, which I don't know when that's going to be. A week ago or 2 weeks ago, I forgot when I said that. I was like, I think I could finish it this month. But then I kind of like went into a lull again, and I haven't really been building as much as I thought I would be. And I was like mostly just focusing on the fact that I needed to do this voiceover. So I don't know if it'll be the end of this month. My goal is to finish this by the end of the year, though, which does seem doable because I do have 3 builds left. Well, technically 4 builds left because I'm still working on the campground one that I had started. But that one I think is going to go by pretty quickly because I only have the interior left to do and just like some outdoor, like set dressing campsite stuff in that lot. But I have 3 builds that I have to start from scratch, which doesn't feel like a whole lot. So I think I can manage it within the next few months. I don't really expect people to want to like download the entire save file into their game. I feel like when I make a save file like this one, I'm assuming people are just going to download parts that they want into their saves. And if there's families that go with it, then it might be easier to place, especially with like, I know that like forever save files have become pretty popular. And so I think that this could be a nice addition to like put into people's save files and like whichever builds that they feel like would look good in their town or like in their story that they're creating. I never even ended up playing my Glimmerbrook save that I spent a lot of time and also like setting up relationships with like all of the people in the town. I never got around to playing it even though I kept saying that I really wanted to, and then I just wasn't that into gameplay, and then I started a different gameplay save and I completely forgot about that wish. But I could always make my own like forever save file with my current household and drop in all of those lots that I made. And I am planning to do like I'm planning to put some of the Copperdale stuff in as well. I think I have already with some of it because my sim did go to prom in the auditorium that I built, and I would love to attend high school with my sims and like control their day, but I haven't made the high school yet for it. And so I really want to make sure that if I do the high school, it'll be something that I'll want to visit in my own gameplay, which means that it won't be like really big and it'll like be a reasonable size where it's just like not overwhelming for your sim to walk through. But now for this build that once again, I'm just talking completely over. You could see what I settled on with the colors. I did a white brick or white stone on most of it, and then accented it with some red brick. I did end up going with having a garage for this. And in the back, there is a shed, which I don't remember if I've recorded me making the shed back there. I feel like I didn't. So I made one of those because there was so much space back there and I didn't know what to do. And I didn't want to just put a bunch of trees. So there's like a creepy storage room back there that has sort of like like extra fridge space that would be for the bakery. That is what that ends up being. And then the garage has a like debug car in it, and that's pretty much it for that. But I thought it looked nice, so I was like, you know what? I've never put garages in my build, so it could be nice to try something different. And there is a bit of a skip just with some extra landscaping that was placed around. Most of it's live edit bushes that I lined the stone pathways just to make it feel a little bit more natural. I added some trees, some like grass, some more flowers, and I do a little sitting area out here so that if you're going to the bakery, you have like a choice of sitting outside to eat or going inside, which really helped to make the place also feel less empty out here, and which I was struggling with. So once I started putting in some tables, I was like, okay, now I'm getting the vibe that this is a cute little cafe, and I really like how the front of it turns out. I put a one of those tea sets out here, I think. I don't know. I put something from Secret Sanctuary in, but if you don't have the kit, you can always switch it out for like something else. But inside, I have like some teapots too, because when I was setting this up for a small business, I was like, there really isn't much for people to do here besides go in and buy desserts, I guess. So I wanted some other tasks to put in, and so I did like drinking tea as one of them just to add a little bit more function to the bakery. And now we're on the inside of the house. I was saying apartment. It really is just a house. It is pretty large. It has two bedrooms, two bathrooms. Yeah, no, three bathrooms, I think. I think the parents have their own bathroom, if I remember correctly. And there is another bathroom upstairs. So there might actually be three bathrooms in this entire build. We'll see. It's been a while since I edited this video, so I really cannot remember. But right now I am doing the living room, which I feel like it's a nice tiny living room, very cozy. It's kind of just the perfect size. There's enough space for a couch and a chair and the TV and a nice rug that I thought matched the furniture really well. And I was really enjoying getting to use some furniture that I don't often use in my builds. And so I was like, wow, these look really cute together. And I was able to pair it with the life and death, like, what is that called? Like the TV stand area. That I really love that piece of furniture, and I think it looked really nice with the other pack furniture that I had picked out. And my excuse for not putting a lot of detail and like wall art and extra furniture in this was that in my head, because the building outside looks really old and run down, there's a lot of wall cracks and grime all over the brick and stuff, but the interior feels very updated and like they are renovating it over time. And so I feel like a lot of this stuff is like kind of new to the place. And so it's like, I'm not going to add more things everywhere. One, because I really didn't want to. And I was like, I think it would make sense for this one to be okay to not be completely cluttered. And maybe I feel like the parents here too, I don't think they would have a very cluttered home. I kind of spent most of the time adding some extra details to the kitchen because they are cooks, so I thought it would make sense to give them some appliances and some other little bits of clutter here and there. And that's why I really love the new kitchen clutter kit. It's so easy to just clutter a kitchen now, and I feel like I'm always just sorting by that and picking out some little things like this scale in the kitchen. And see, I'm sorting by it now and I'm just pulling out all the cute items. I really love the items that came in this kit. I feel like this entire kitchen just has a bunch of kit items in it because I'm pretty sure the tile floor is from Cozy Bistro, which is another of my like probably like top 5 favorite kits in the game right now. And the stove is, I think, from the like country kitchen kit, if I remember correctly. And then the fridge, of course, is from the new kitchen clutter kit. And then I think some Parenthood stuff I had for like the curtains and the bread box. Another thing that I liked in this build was raising up the dining room area on a platform. I occasionally do that in some of my builds, not all the time, but I think it really helps to define some space and makes the place feel a little bit more cozy. And there was just enough space for a small dining room table. There's only 3 chairs, but only 3 Sims live here. And there are 3 bathrooms, which I really think is excessive for this. But there was, I don't know, I guess that's just how it turned out because the downstairs bathroom is huge, and I guess I really didn't have to do all of that, but I didn't really know what to do with that little bit of space anyway. Probably would have just ended up having another bookcase over there, so might as well just have another bathroom. And I think it was because upstairs, I wanted to make sure that there was a bathroom for the teenager, but then there was enough space to give the parents a bathroom too. So it just kind of happened that way. And I do feel like the downstairs bathroom was more so meant to be a half bath. But as you can see, there's like that weird sliver that has the shower space in it. And I was like, what do I even do over here? Because it was kind of like where the stairs were placed. And it could have been a weird closet maybe from the garage, or it could have actually had a like a function. And so I just decided to add a shower over there, and then I squeeze in a tiny desk by the dining room space because I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to have a desk somewhere, but it doesn't really have to be huge. They don't need a whole office in their house because the upstairs of the bakery is an office for that. So I just wanted to make sure that there was a desk with a computer down there. I was trying to figure out what wallpaper I used for the like parents' bathroom and the hallways, and I have a feeling it's from the new mudroom kit. So I guess I use a lot of kits. So unfortunately, if you don't have a whole bunch of kits, you'll have to replace it. But I'm sure that there would be a base game wallpaper that would look just as good. Really, any patterned wallpaper. I think I was just struggling to pick things out, and like my eyes were drawn to like the new stuff that I had. Because I also used the messenger bag that came in the mudroom kit in both like the foyer area here and also thrown on a counter in the bakery, kind of like a student or something is there having breakfast before class. And so I have like stacks of books and things by the window over there. But I really love the little bag that came with that. By the way, I'm pretty sure I used this exact bed in each of the residential builds that I made for this. I know that I used it in kind of like the best friend neighbors build that I did a while ago, and I feel like I probably used it in the ice cream place one with the apartment upstairs. I really struggled to pick out normal looking beds, and this one is the like nicest looking to me and the most plain and has the best swatches for bedding. And so I keep picking this one out. And like the lights were blinding for a second. I did adjust the lights a lot, and after this I do turn them a lot more yellow to make them a lot warmer too, and it ends up looking a little bit better later on. And then I also just stuck to the color palette I had downstairs with like oranges and yellows. And then I realized that I could just add in a bunch of plants to add another little bit of pop of green around the place. So I go back downstairs and I put some plants where I feel like they would fit into like just whatever empty space there was around. And I really like how narrow or like not really deep that dresser is or wardrobe. I think it looks really nice in that corner with the mirror and the really like pretty plant that I think came with paranormal. I don't know. I don't know why I'm trying to guess, but I really love that plant. And then for the teenage bedroom, I did use some of the new Adventure Awaits stuff. I was trying to see if I wanted the bed to work, but I didn't really like the green frame of it. And so I went for the cats and dogs one. And I used the Adventure Awaits kind of like clutter shelf that's filled with all sorts of board games. I thought it was really fitting for a bedroom. And so that was like one of the first things I picked out for the room, and just various different instruments since they want to be a musician when they're older. So there's two guitars, there's another keyboard up here, as well as one in the bakery later on, a little stereo, just like mismatched furniture because as a kid, I just kind of had whatever furniture was left over from my siblings or like the generation before me. And so everything was kind of just like mix and matched. And so that was what I was doing for this bedroom up here too. And some of this furniture could have been the parents' old stuff and they bought new, like more modern furniture for their room. And so the dresser could have been theirs, like the side table. That was kind of like what I'm thinking while I'm looking at it. Wasn't what I was thinking when I was building it, but it could make sense for a little story that that was their old furniture. There's some old craft stuff that I thought that like the teenager would have made in school or something, so that's just on the dresser, and some posters to fill up the very blank wall. And I was using the new Adventure Awaits curtains. I really liked the purple plaid, and I felt like it would kind of be fitting for everything else. Like everything doesn't, it's not supposed to all match each other, but I don't know. I feel like they'd like purple because I have the side table that's purple, and well, the bed isn't actually purple, it's pink, but I think purple and pink look really nice together anyway. And then I was just filling in the space with random books like scattered around, some on the floor. And now I am doing the bakery. You could see that I didn't really show me doing the floor plan in this video, and I really don't remember it, so I don't know if I could really explain my thought process on any of the floor plans for this, but I just sectioned off where I wanted the counter space to be, and that naturally flowed into a sort of back room that has the kitchen and just wherever tables could fit. I put tables in. You could see I have a bunch of objects on the floor that I picked out before I was recording just to cut down on some time. And so I pulled out things that I thought would be fitting for the bakery. And then I put two bathrooms in wherever bathrooms fit in. That was the whole thing. Also the staircase. So it was like counter space first, and then I probably put the staircase in, and then I went from there. Unless I showed the floor plan before, because I did talk over a lot of the exterior of this video. So maybe I did show the floor plan, but that was, I guess, my best way of explaining how it probably came together. And I really love the new jars that came with the new kitchen clutter kit. I got cut off because my dog was barking, and I knew that if I didn't sound natural, I would just explain why it didn't sound natural, but it made decorating the bakery a little bit easier. And so this time I didn't feel the need to make a bunch of baked goods to put in the display case like I usually do, because there's like jars of cookies and stuff behind and just random ingredient jars that I tried to just pretend like it had other sorts of cookies or something in it. I don't know what is in it, but it fills up the shelves nicely, and I feel like I don't know where the shelves come from, but they light up a little bit, and I've never really used them before. But it's like, you know what? I'm gonna use them in this one. I think it'll go nicely. And the kitchen area, I had to expand out a bit because I couldn't fit in everything I wanted to fit in. And I almost forgot a sink at one point, and I delete one of those display cases in there because it was just taking up too much space. And so I delete one of those. I bring it out like one tile in a direction, and I move that like the freezer type thing into another storage area in the back, which was the shed. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I could just put some back there. It could make sense because I really liked the look of the fridge with all of the little stickers and stuff on it. And so I was like, I really want to use that one. And now it all works out because I expanded it just a little bit. And so I'm able to put in some more items. And you can see this is when I almost forgot the sink and I put in two of the fridges. I'm pretty sure I delete one of the fridges and I put in kind of like an industrial looking sink just for it to make some sense. I think it's the Cozy Bistro shelf in some areas and just some base game cabinets. The wallpaper is also from the Cozy Bistro kit. Like I say it all the time, but it really is one of my favorite kits. I think I use chairs and tables from it as well as the front door to the bakery is also from that kit. It's just like everything looks so nice together. It's like the perfect style for me. And then I just fill up these shelves with different sorts of ingredient containers. I was like, yeah, thank you for this kit because it's making my life so much easier. And this is so much faster to decorate because I don't have to go searching through, or I don't have to maybe like have a bucket and then put random ingredients in it to pretend like there's some sort of storage in there because there's already some containers that I could have. And now this is the storage shed. I changed the light in here to be like slightly greenish yellow, which is the color that I usually go for when I want it to look like old dingy fluorescent lighting. And I did the same sort of thing in my like Copperdale shops that have just a bunch of stores. And so I think I make the kitchen slightly like yellowish green and this back storage room, and that's probably it. And then the rest is a very warm yellow light, which you'll see in the screenshots. Even though I do have G Shade on, the lighting does look good without it because I played around with the lighting in just like normal game mode without my G Shade on, and that is how I like ended up picking out the lighting that I actually really liked. And up here is the office. You can see that I already picked some items out. I pretty much did that before I was starting because the process of the interior took me a while, and it was a lot of me just going through the build by catalog and pulling out a random item and putting it in a room that I think it would fit in. And so that's what all this is, just up here. And I was like, I really want these green cabinets. I'm pretty sure I used them in the record store that I made too, but I think they look really nice with the dark wood, and so I needed to have it up here as well. And this is just a very basic office. There's just a desk, some bookcases, a couple of chairs. I thought that like maybe people would come up here to like do a catering order or something. It feels very official and fancy for that, but that's what I was thinking the purpose of this office would be to hold like very tiny meetings with customers or for like party orders. I felt like this family would be very ambitious with their goals for this bakery, and that's kind of why they expect their daughter to take on the bakery too. But she wants to do her own thing and make her music. And she was probably the one that came up with the idea of playing live music in there. And they were probably like, I don't know if we want that. But maybe it becomes a popular thing that people go there and they listen to the music that she plays. So she can do that before she goes off to college and does her own thing. And I did realize that I didn't put a computer in this office. Maybe I should. I could just put one in very quickly. I don't remember if I put a computer in their home. So if there's not, I'll definitely put a computer up in the office space too. Now we see the screenshots. I took a picture of the daughter playing the keyboard in the bakery too. And I did go in and I put some wood on the ceiling for the bakery, but I only did that for the bakery. The house just has the standard white ceiling that just comes with the game. And I actually really love how the living room came out. I feel like it took me so long to really like the interior of both of these. And looking at the screenshots now, I feel like I really enjoy all of it. So I'm glad that it just took a little bit extra work and some small breaks to refresh my mind and come back to it when I was ready, because I think it looks really cute in the screenshots, and changing the lighting definitely helps as well. And as always, thank you so much for watching this much of my video. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.